Stage. Introductions. Let's move.
Okay, hold on. I need some time. Go ahead.
My name is Julia Liebell-McLean.
I'm Liebell-McLean.
I'm Seidel.
And I'm McCarty. And this is an Unfit King for a New Age.
We're having fun. We're not getting our wisdom teeth excited.
If I, James of England, a good Catholic, cannot rule this country, then no one will. No law shall be passed, and no king crowned, without this great seal of England.
Begone, foul tyrant. Throne where seal cannot halt the engines of government. I am William Fortune. I am fit to be king.
Only I am fit to rule by divine right.
On the contrary, Father, as your daughter, I am fit to rule with my husband William. We have the consent of Parliament and the people. You, Father, are a most unfit king.
This is a scene from the end of the Glorious Revolution in England, 1689. One king, William of the Netherlands, invades the country of another king, James II of England. Although this appears to be a story of conquering and betrayal, it is really a fundamental change in the governmental ideas in England. But how did this change begin? An English coffee house, May 1688.
It's been 30 years since the violence of the war, and I finally figured out how to have some peace between the Tories, who support a strong king, and Whigs like me who support Parliament. But now that tyrant King James II is king, and even worse, he's a Catholic.
Well, we might disagree about James, but he rules by divine right.
The divine right of kings was a belief held by many, especially the Tories, that kings are fit to rule by the will of God.
He didn't rule justly. He pretended he was God's choice. Government is not by the divine right, but by the social contract.
The social contract is a theory created by the philosopher John Locke, who right now is in exile in Amsterdam for his writings. The people create the sovereign to protect their freedom and rights. The Whigs believed that once the king breaks his contract, he's a tyrant who should be removed from his position.
Without divine right, there will be instability and more civil war. The problem with James isn't power. The problem is that he is a Catholic.
Catholics are not the problem. We have been persecuted by the Church of England for a very long time. Take the Test Acts, preventing us from serving in the military and government. Is that fair? Now James is giving Catholics the same rights as Anglicans. Too bad that he does not have a male heir. Mary, a Protestant, will succeed James.
Yes, we are safe because James' wife conceives easily, but she loses the babies before birth. I am confident Mary will be queen. We Tories love Mary as much as you Whigs love rebellion. Let's just support the tyrant and wait him out.
Here's to the rights of the people.
The Court of James II, June 1688.
It's been 3 years since Monmouth's attempt to overthrow me. That traitor's been executed, and I'm moving England forward to create a great state. I've repealed the Test Acts and removed more of my opponents from power. And now my beloved wife has given me a son, an heir to the throne. A Catholic dynasty shall rule England as God has decreed.
Truly you rule by the will of God, sire.
My one doubt is the people. My subjects are not with me. When I issued the Declaration of Indulgence, the bishops refused to read it to the congregations. I will never gain the complete sovereign powers that I deserve if my people do not respect me.
Indeed, sire.
The King of France is my model for rule, an absolutist state capable of great power. But William, my fool of a son-in-law, and Mary, my once beloved daughter, are on the verge of betraying me. I am doing so much to protect England from France with my standing army.
My lord, you have done so much for the Catholics from oppression. Your Declaration of Indulgence promotes freedom of worship for Catholics, Jews, Presbyterians, Muslims, and even atheists. There are now no religious oaths till military civil office. No more punishments for not attending the Church of England. Dissenting Protestants love you for this, but the Whigs and some of those dissenting Protestants believe the standing army will be used against Englishmen whom we disagree with. The Whigs and Tories hate that you are packing Parliament with your supporters. The Lords and Gentry are nervous about your property. You have done so much good, my lord, but you have alienated many people in your realm.
The priest was right. The Whigs had objected to James on the grounds that their rights and property would be invaded. Although the Tories supported James as the legitimate heir by divine right and as a strong king, they cringed at allowing Roman Catholics in the army, navy, and universities. When James issued the declaration, the bishops refused to read it to their congregations. James tried the bishops and imprisoned them in the Tower of London. If that wasn't enough controversy for England, there was a new heir. Today is June 30th, 1688, and 7 men, the immortal 7, gather to write a letter to William of Orange. William Cavendish and 3 other Whigs joined Thomas Osborne, as well as 2 other Tories, to determine how to remove the king.
Now that a male heir has been born, we must do something to prevent a Catholic succession. It was all well and good if we were to endure James, and then Mary, a Protestant, would take the throne. His son, a Catholic, is now the heir. It is intolerable that James has packed the Parliament with his supporters. We cannot have an absolute king and preserve our rights as Englishmen.
But you must remember, he is the legitimate king.
No, sir, I beg to differ. A king is legitimate because he serves the sovereign people of England by protecting their rights. The king's power is not based on divine right, but on a social contract. People will agree to a sovereign who will protect them and rule fairly. Once the king breaks his promise, breaks the contract, he is no longer rightful king of England. Nay, he is a tyrant. The king has seized our property. We have the right to liberty, to resist power, and to choose our own governors. We need a strong parliament and a decent king, a balance of power that will preserve our English liberties. The natural losses we may, nay, we must remove James.
I don't like the idea of the king and the parliament sharing power. It will lead to another civil war. Though I hate the so-called king, I cringe at what you propose. Do you remember the violence after the beheading of Charles? Can we afford that again?
Can we afford 2 generations of Catholic tyranny?
No, indeed, we cannot, but I do not see how we remove James and maintain order unless we can replace him with a rightful heir to the throne. Someone that will be respected by the people, the Church of England, and the Lords, not to mention the new property-owning gentry. Who? Wait, Mary might rule.
Yes, her husband William is a very enlightened king.
Bah, William.
William has reason to want you to join the powers of England and Holland. He might accept. William.
And Mary.
The 7 men, Whigs and Tories, wrote a 3-page letter to William, asking him to invade England and assume the throne with James's daughter, Mary.
How does this sound? The people are dissatisfied because their religion, liberties, and properties have been invaded by the government. A majority of them are desirous of change and would revolt if they had your protection to support their revolution. They wish to defend themselves, but need to know they will not be destroyed if they try.
The greater part of nobility and gentry are dissatisfied. They have joined your Highness at your first landing. Your Highness, together with the people, lords, and gentry, will support the rebellion against James. Mary, I do believe that I'm ready. I've been ready since before the heir was born. A Protestant England together with the Netherlands can defeat Catholic France. I've amassed 60 warships, 4,000 horses, 1,500 troops, and 1 printing press. That should be enough.
On the contrary, father, as your daughter, I am fit to rule with my husband William. We have the consent of Parliament and the people. You, father, are a most unfit king.
Although the Glorious Revolution appears to be a story of conquest and betrayal, it is really a radical change in English government. The divine right of kings was replaced by the social contract. People, parliament, gentry, and nobles reacted to absolutism by reforming the English government.
the constitutional monarchy, empowered parliament, and framework of rights created by the Glorious Revolution inspired the American Revolution.
The colonists saw George III as a tyrant who had broken the social contract. The reaction included a balance of power between the legislature and the executive, which we now know as the separation of powers.
The Americans used John Locke's writings to reject divine right, support religious toleration, and explain popular sovereignty.
The right of the people to consent to their government.
Awesome.
That was terrific.
Yeah, you guys, what we'll just agree to is that maybe, depending on when everyone's getting there, that Sunday night, we'll just run it without costumes or anything like that, just so you guys, like.
Can get the feel of it before.
Yeah,
Because
whenever
it's always the second time that we
Oh,
do it.
it's fantastic, you know, it's just fabulous.
We can meet early Monday morning and do it Monday morning. We can run
No
it.
problem.
One of the hotel rooms, sure.
Just turn around out
Okay.
and look at
We can do it in the
I think
lobby.
it'd be really good if they did it, we don't have a time for Sunday,
No, we don't.
so it would be really good
You
if.
mean we don't have a time for Monday?
Monday we don't have a time. Sunday we have
Sundays-
like some opening ceremony at like.
Right, but if we could just do it, if we could do it Sunday night, that would be
Is the opening ceremony at
Why
6?
can't we get it like a hotel?
Morning or at night?
Do it in the lobby.
I don't know when it is.
and walk
Yeah,
out.
it's a 6:30
Yeah.
PM
Like, no, like the Shakespeare
opening
people.
ceremony.
Oh, in the subway car.